Wherever it was, it was different. Nothing's ever right. When I'm working on something at home, I'm really close. I just end up taking them off and throwing them because I can't see them. You can't see them. Right.
Okay, can you all hear me back there? Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the June 18th Board of Supervisors meeting for June. Would you please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First on the agenda here is public comment on agenda items. If there are any, please raise your hand, state your name. Seeing none. Announcements. I will announce that Dave Keeley will be sitting in for Mary tonight, our solicitor. Welcome, Dave. Next on the agenda is consent agenda. The meeting minutes for May 21st, the WIN review status. Oh, I have one other announcement. We will be holding an executive session after tonight's meeting to discuss some personnel matters. Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda here is the consent agenda, the May 21st meeting minutes, the WIN plan review, action plans about to expire, emergency service report, building and zoning, permits report, public works report, conservation committee report. Greg, I'll ask you to read the treasury report. Thank you.
Sure. The treasurer's report as of May 31st, 2025, the general fund, $1,916,635.79. Highway aid, $277,733.11. Open space, $1,438,454.53. The park fund, $88,669.62. The equipment fund, $32,310.05. Highway capital, $147.17. Street light, $42,780.17. Reserve funds, the general fund reserve, $514,982.78. American Rescue Plan, 0. Open Space Manderfield, $40,557.52. Sewage maintenance, $218,913.75. Stormwater fund, $1,539.94. And the escrow funds, $856,443.97.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have one comment.
Okay.
It should be noted under the emergency service report, Kurt Wagner resigns as chief of the Sellersville Fire Department on May 29th.
Yep. Thank
and
you.
He's going to be, the assistant chief, Doug Wilhelm, is assuming that position.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
And I see in the audience, we have one of the other fire chiefs. So thank you guys for coming out and all the work you do.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I will second.
Second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Next on the agenda is confirmed appointments. I don't see any on here, so there are no confirmed appointments. Moving forward, committee reports. First on here is the Planning Commission. Mr. Chris Durstein. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
All right. So Planning Commission met last Tuesday. We had 2 applicants on the agenda. The first one was the Orchards at West Rock Hill. This is a property at the M&M Quarry, just to the west side of the M&M Quarry. They're proposing 96 lots, 32 which would be singles, 36 townhouses, and 28 twins. have an entry on Cat Hill as well as Quarry. It'll be considered a performance standard subdivision. That's why we have the mix of different housing types. It's in the suburban residential zoning district. You probably recall that site was previously looked at for development and had a handful of issues, one of which was arsenic on the property. They've done testing. There are still a couple of hot spots, but most of the area falls within legal limit, below legal limit. So they're hopeful that these hot spots will clear up in the near future. There was an issue, a concern of flooding along the Branch Creek at the Cat Hill entrance. Their resolution to that is the second entrance. They procured an easement from Drager that would connect to the property from Quarry. So they're proposing an entrance from Quarry as well as Cat Hill. Sewer and water proposed to be handled by Telford Borough Authority with the connection on Quarry Road near Drager. It would require a pump station on the low side, down by the Cat Hill entrance. It will be pumped up through the property out to Quarry and then up to the connection point. Again, this was an informal sketch. No action was taken. So that's basically my report on that project. If you have any questions?
I have a comment regarding it.
Sure.
That's the same site, just for the public's interest, that there were two prior developers that brought plans in. Brian Carpenter brought one in with 93 homes the first time originally. And then I think WB brought one.
WB
The last one
was
in.
the last one.
And there
yes.
was an issue with another access being trapped in there because it was a P loop or something.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so they resolved that issue. That took care of the P-loop issue and the flooding issue on the potential flooding issue on Cat Hill from Branch Creek.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, so
No question. None. No question.
are you okay? Thanks.
I listened to everything.
Okay.
Wasn't here, but listened in.
The second applicant was Select Properties with what they're calling the Fisher Track subdivision. This is a 9.68 acre lot with an existing residence. It's in the VR zone. They're looking to subdivide this into two lots. Lot 1 being a vacant lot, 5 acres, be potentially used for a sewer pumping station or the proposed development that would be abutting that property. Second lot would contain the existing dwelling and outbuildings that has on-site septic and well, and that would be 4.68 acres. They're looking for a deferral of road frontage improvements until the adjoining subdivision is potentially improved. They would most likely just pay the fee instead of improving Mountain View. They're also requesting a waiver from an existing vegetation requirement due to the fact that there's no construction proposed at this time. And a waiver request for sewage planning was also submitted for the same reason, with a non-building declaration note included on the plan. So they want the subdivision for the potential pump station. No construction proposed at this point. So basically it's a subdivision. They want to waive the requirements for the sewer and the vegetation and the street improvements.
I got a question for you, Chris. Sure. Would Mountain View be a road used for the other development, the bigger development that was?
I don't believe it was. Were they considering an emergency?
The current version of the plan just shows an emergency access to Mountain View Road, no
Right.
full.
But if you have to use it as emergency, why wouldn't you have it improved? If you have to get fire trucks and stuff in and out of there.
Right.
We all know what Mountain View looks like. It's a tiny road.
Yeah, it is.
I remember in the past, there was a previous developer was going to actually acquire those properties along there and incorporate that into that development. I'm not saying that happened here.
Right.
But I am raising the question to you, if it's going to be used as an emergency access for fire protection, whatever,
Sure.
people to get out, wait for people to get out if something happens on the other side, why wouldn't you want to have that improved now?
And that won't be an issue until they, submit plans for the pump station on that subdivision.
Okay.
We haven't seen the big project plan for months. So it wasn't really an issue at this past meeting,
Okay.
but it's a valid point for sure.
Thank you.
So when if and when that comes in, we'll look into that.
Okay.
No, that's been an issue since back when DeLuca was first looking at it.
Sure.
Right.
Yep. So now moving forward, we agreed to recommend the waivers as well as recommending preliminary final approval of the subdivision. And that's all I have. Any other questions?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion
Watch you guys on YouTube, so
approval of the planning commission report.
moved.
Motion
Second.
made, second. All those signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next on this committee report is Park and Rec, Mr. Dave Rice.
How's everybody doing today?
Good, Dave. How are you?
I love the rain. You gotta love that, because we need it. We need sunshine so we can get some of these things. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be warm and hot, so we're gonna get the sunshine with the heat. So if everybody doesn't remember, it's 3 months and a week until September Fest, our 30th annual. So I hope you have it on your calendars. You put it in your phones. You have your reminders. Hey, 12 o'clock, September Fest. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I've said it for a couple months, but we're looking really to have a big event. It's going to be a good day. Hopefully a lot of people. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. Feature film and fire, we haven't determined, but we have about 5 movies that we're floating between back and forth. So we haven't decided that. It's most likely going to be the second Saturday in October, as it was last year, because that seems to be the right time frame. We have a couple things waiting on weather to plant our shed, the pavilion, the gazebo, and start our dog park. So we have all them confirmed. It's just a matter of getting through some of these, soggy days, and so we can get the shed, situated and the gazebo base, so we can have that ready and the dog park ready for, planting, as we so call it. That is pretty much. Let's see. I think that was it. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. I didn't see a report in the packet.
Oh,
Just letting
Yeah.
you know. I don't know if I know there was.
meeting minutes. Oh, the
Yes.
notes. Yes. That I got to finish. That's on me. Yeah.
Okay. But I don't have any other questions.
I have a comment.
You have a comment?
I wanted to say thank you to the Historical Society for your help
Oh, you're welcome.
last week,
Happy to help.
and Park and Rec.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you, Dave.
It's nice when you guys cooperate.
Oh, we always do.
Always.
Oh, we always
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Dave and Dave.
That being said,
Well, Dave and David. I've already been yelled at from that.
that being said, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the Park and Rec.
So moved.
Motion made.
Second.
Second. All those signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Next on the agenda is commission reports. Penn Ridge Regional Police Department. Chief Dickinson. How are you, Chief?
Good, how you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Dave, how are you?
Big Excel.
What's that?
Big Excel.
It's been a long day. All right, so I have
Weeks.
the May 2025 activity report for the Penn Ridge Regional Police Department. The police department responded to 815 calls for service in the month of May. 363 of those calls for service were in East Rock Hill Township. 446 were here in West Rock Hill Township, with 5 calls assisting our neighboring departments. The department handled 21 traffic crashes in the month of May. Of those crashes, 10 were reportable, 21 were non-reportable, with 11 occurring in East Rock Hill Township and 10 in West Rock Hill Township. Our criminal activity report for the month of May, we had 11 crimes against property, 2 crimes against persons, 3 crimes against society, and then we had 13 of your Group B offenses, which are your more minor offenses. For East Rock Hill Township, those offenses included an animal cruelty call, dogs running loose call, simple assault, child abuse investigation, drug complaint, 2 DUIs, 2 frauds, 1 harassment, 1 arson, 2 ordinance violations, and 3 theft reports. In West Rock Hill Township, we had 2 hit and run crashes, 1 DUI crash, 1 simple assault, 1 burglary, 1 criminal mischief, 1 drug investigation, 2 fraud reports, a harassment, a vehicle pursuit, a sexual offense, and then 2 trespassing offenses. So for the month of May, we filed 25 criminal charges. They included 3 dog law violations, 1 charge of cruelty to animals, 10 charges of DUI, 1 charge of a protection from abuse order violation, 3 drug possessions, 3 drug paraphernalia possession charges, simple assault, harassment, disorderly conduct, and fleeing and eluding the police department. Our other activities for the month of May included 207 traffic enforcement details. We issued 107 traffic citations, 159 traffic warnings, conducted 20 school checks, 107 park checks, 69 business checks, and officers attended or participated in 317 hours of training in the month of May. So far for the 2025 year, the department has handled 4,404 calls for service, responded to 136 traffic crashes, 148 offenses have been reported, 126 criminal charges have been filed, and officers have attended or participated in 1,039 hours of training. And that, gentlemen, would be your May 2025 activity report.
Any questions for the chief, gentlemen?
I have a question, but it's not related to your report tonight.
Yes, sir.
Given the recent incident in the township, which involved multiple law enforcement agencies, could you speak to command and control, like who determines who's in charge and how is that coordinated? And in this previous event, who's in charge?
Well, in this event, as soon as it crossed over the county line in the West Rock Hill Township, it was our incident. We handled the barricaded portion of it. I was incident commander, and we handled it from that perspective. We worked very well hand in hand with the Central Bucks Special Response Team and the Pennsylvania State Police CERT team. And then there was upwards of probably 15 to 20 police departments there, different departments from Montgomery and Bucks County and the Pennsylvania State Police. So it was quite the undertaking, but you know, I had the officers that were on scene initially did a great job. I arrived maybe 10 minutes after that, and so I thought it went very smoothly, and luckily everybody went home and we were able to take the suspect into custody with no issues. So
Nobody hurt, right?
nobody was hurt.
Great job.
Thank you.
Any
Yeah.
questions?
No, I was there.
Good.
They were in my damn front yard.
One thing that I'd like to add is Mr. Shermer asked me to address the Paul Miller law that just was passed in reference to cell phone use. I'm not going to get too nitty gritty into it. It's pretty simple. You're just not allowed to have your cell phone in your hand when you're operating a motor vehicle. And that includes stopped at a traffic light. So for the first year, the way the legislation was passed is that police officers can only write warnings for the first year. And then following June 5th of 2026, the police department will be able to issue citations. So I haven't seen a whole lot of them come across my desk yet, but I'm sure they will be coming. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And congratulations to Officer Troupe, because she has a really good voice. She was yelling at me, but still good.
She has a voice, yes.
Okay.
She's small but mighty.
Y'all did a great job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, chief. With that,
I'll make a motion.
okay, I have a motion made for acceptance of the chief's report. Second, all those signify by saying aye. Aye, ayes have it. Thank you, chief, very
Thank you,
much.
gentlemen.
Okay, moving on here. Next on the agenda is the Joint Rec Authority report. Mr. Lippincott, I don't see Angela here, so would you please read that report for us?
Sure, you have the minutes from the June 2025. The new camp, Wild Rec Camp, reached out to us to sign up for the use of the pool in the month of August. They're still working out the details, but it looks like they may have another camp. The cardboard regatta will be held July 19th. Lifeguards will be running the event. They had some fence clearing. They had a new company come in and reach out to donate their time to get all the growth off the fence. The rec desk, some issues with announcements through the text messaging system. We're working through it. Email's still working fine. A lot of people did not want the text notification. The conservation easement funds, we're going to place these funds in a business CD to be used as we receive grants for pool improvements. Events and fundraisers that are scheduled. The next one to hold is 6/13, starting at 4 p.m. We would also like to hold events every Friday. No tubes larger than 45 inches for Flick and Float, July 11th and August 8th. The Boat Regatta, again, July 19th. Adult Night Out, August 17th. At Percy Community Day, there will be a 10th, June 28th. And Dine and Donates, June 10th at Bankers, Charos, June 17th. Once again, Jan and Kevin Dietz have graciously donated 8 tickets for games to the pool. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the mascots. I'm sure the tickets will help with fundraising, and we greatly appreciate the donation. We raised $1,000 from our Dine and Donate on Bankers on 6/10.
Great, very good. I did have one question, and I don't think you can answer. But the fee for the rec desk, how much is that costing the Joint Rec Authority? And is that an annual fee or was that a one-time fee? I thought it was supposed to be a one-time fee
That's an annual fee. It was about 2,500, 3,500.
for every year.
Software costs money.
Okay.
But on the brighter side, I do have a number for you, which is, we just double checked and we are now at 868 members.
868 members total.
Total.
You still don't have it broken down for West Rock Hill.
How's that split between?
The different municipalities. We
Angela-
were going to track that.
I know Angela sent that in, to look that up. But essentially it's easier with the new software. They have to break that down essentially by head of household
Okay.
and the first contact. So we're still trending about 2/5, 3/5 between Salisbury and West Rock Hill. And then we have a bunch more for various other boroughs, townships, and everybody else.
Mhm.
But
Maybe by next
First-
month, she can have that
yeah, well,
figured out.
I know I have it, and I know she sent it to I thought she sent it to everybody, but right now, 868 is about where we were in like 1975. So we're
Okay.
doing pretty good because last year we were way, way down for the
Yep.
numbers. The Joint Rec Authority has put out a bunch of people, and the reason that the Joint Rec Authority isn't here is because they have now gone to 2 meetings per month. So they have a meeting on the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday, and the third Wednesday is also the township meeting. So I'm here instead of being over there.
Okay.
While we're working, you need to be taking care of everybody and making sure we get as many people or have as many people working to get stuff done as we possibly can. But all in all, we're doing pretty well. Fortunately, I think they had almost 300 today. They did call to check because we had pretty much chilly, rainy weather for the last like 2 weeks. Water temperature's up like 74, 75.
You'll probably get a few more by the weekend.
Yeah, it's now getting warm, and last 2 or 3 days, the water temperature is like 14 degrees above what the air temperature is. So the pool feels nice and warm. So everybody come in, go swing.
Great. Okay, any other questions for Joint Rec?
Feasibility study.
Feasibility
You have
study.
3 quotes and you're going with aquatic design. When is it? You know when that's going to happen?
They figure 6 to 9 weeks.
This year before the pool closes.
Yeah, so it should be done before, we're going to be out there before the pool closes. So we should have that 6 weeks, 9 weeks, might be 12, depending on how long they take.
Thank you.
But that's been contracted. We signed, or we agreed they should be signing it probably right about now.
Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the joint rec report.
Okay, motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, Al. And Greg. And moving forward then, next on the agenda is the tax collector report. Suzanne Clark, I do not see here. So Can you give an update?
Sure. In your package, you have the May 2025 tax collectors report. The collected so far for the month is $19,143.85.
Okay.
Bills will most likely be going out at the end of June.
Those are the bigger ones.
The bigger ones.
Yes.
Those are the school taxes.
Okay. Any questions?
No question.
Okay.
Question.
I'll make a motion. We approve the tax collector report as read.
Second?
Okay, motion's been made and second. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Thank you. Next on the agenda here is the engineer's report. Mr. Steve Ballard, how are you?
Fine, thank you. I have nothing specific on the report, but I would like to, advise the board that we've made good progress on the overlay paving contract. They've completed all the 2024 roads and all of 2025 except for Keystone Drive, which is scheduled for tomorrow,
Okay,
weather permitting. So it may be tomorrow, Friday, get that done.
okay.
Couple odds and ends, and then those two projects will be out of the way.
That will be last year's work.
Be last year's work and this year's work.
Okay. So
Now we have this separate project for the developments,
Yep.
but
So they're doing good.
yes, very good.
All right.
That's all I have unless there's any questions.
I have no questions. I guess I'll entertain a motion for approval of that.
So moved.
Motion's been made, second. All those signify by saying aye. Okay, thank you. Moving forward, next on the agenda is solicitor report. Dave, how are you?
Thank you.
Good.
And before you start, just want to make sure. Good. Right. Pretty good. Thank you.
Okay, you have to grab the mic. or it won't-
Sounds good. Do I sound okay?
Sound great.
Thank you. So good evening. The first item on our solicitor's report tonight is a public hearing on the conditional use application of Laura Lind Corporation trading as Fast Signs. The application was filed to seek approval under section 450-1201B3 of the West Rock Hill Township zoning ordinance to allow retail trade and retail services at 835 Lawn Avenue, otherwise known as tax map parcel 52-014-112, and that's located in the township's institutional service zoning district. Notice of tonight's hearing was sent to the applicant and was published in the Intelligencer on June 3rd and June 10th. And the application, the proof of publication of the public notice, and the notice to the applicant are collectively marked here as Exhibit A and made part of our record. Now, just by way of explanation to the members of the public especially, a conditional use is a form of permitted use. That means that if the applicant presents adequate evidence that its proposed use meets the general requirements for a conditional use, as well as any specific requirements for the specific conditional use, and here that's retail trade and retail services, the board must grant the conditional use. However, if they don't present adequate evidence, the board may deny the conditional use. Now is the point where I'll get to asking if there's anybody here who would like party status. What that means is you can be eligible for party status if you live close enough to the property. And again, this is 835 Lawn Avenue, that you might be potentially aggrieved by the proposed use that's being proposed here. Persons with party status, you get to participate in the hearing as a party. You get to ask questions on cross-examination if you so choose of the applicant. You get to present your own testimony if you like, and you get to present some of your own witnesses if you so choose. And that's if you're granted party status. But if you do not, one more thing, if you do get party status and if you don't like the decision that's eventually rendered, you do have the right to appeal that to the Court of Common Pleas of Bucks County. But that's only if you're granted party status. If you do not request party status, however, you still do have the chance to express your opinion and make public comment and tell the board your thoughts on the application. But that would be towards the end of the hearing. So for now, I will ask if anybody here would like to request party status. Is there anybody in the room who would like to request party status for this application?
First, I would ask that we clarify the location.
I have 835 Lawn Avenue.
Yes, the old Univest.
Exactly. Yes, it's been unoccupied for some time. I understand it used to be a Univest.
Nobody looks at,
Okay.
just making sure nobody looks at the addresses. And unfortunately, when they decided to pave Lawn Avenue, they never told anybody, which is why we have buckets with mailboxes all up Lawn Avenue.
Yeah,
So just
yes.
making sure
Yes.
everybody knows which location it is.
This is sort of among the medical professional offices in the area. So I'll ask again, is there anybody who would like to request party status? I didn't see any response earlier, but I'll just make sure one last time. I see no response. Thank you. Now, this hearing is being transcribed by a court reporter. I know nobody's requesting party status, but if anybody does wish to give public comment at the end, it's very important to speak slowly, clearly, and just one at a time. The stenographer can only type down one person at a time. So that's why, it's one of the reasons why it's so important to speak slowly, clearly, and just one person at a time. I note that the applicant is present, represented by counsel, Mr. Hughes, this evening. At this point, I will turn it over to Chairman Kaiser to convene the hearing.
Okay, thank you. Okay. At this time, I will open the hearing. My chair, which just went flat for some reason. I didn't do anything. Anyway, we'll sit that way. Okay, we'll open the hearing. We'll open the hearing at this time, and you may proceed with the request.
Good evening. My name's Ed Hughes, an attorney from Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. I'm
Good
here
evening,
with
Ed.
Steve Nave. He's the principal of Laura Lynn Corporation.
Okay.
Trading as Fast Signs, who proposes to operate a Fast Signs franchise in the vacant 1,545 square foot building formerly occupied by Univest Bank on a 49,188 square foot property at 835 Lawn Avenue in the IS Institutional Service District in West Rock Hill Township. Retail, trade and retail services are permitted in the IS Institutional District by conditional use pursuant to the section that Dave referenced. I handed out a package of exhibits.
Yep.
So
What firm are you
exhibit,
with?
what firm?
Yep.
Right now, I'm with Hughes Corporate and Ozrowski,
Oh, all right.
the two-man law firm. And my 60-year-old partner is retiring, so I need to have a new law firm. So
Oh.
I'm going to Whistler Pearlstein Law Firm in Bluebell, Pennsylvania on July 1,
Oh, that's nice.
after 46 years with my current firm. So,
Good. Just happy.
yep.
Making sure.
So on the exhibit list, we have the deed showing ownership of the property by the landlord. Exhibit A2 is the property assessor's records from Bucks County Board of Assessment, describes the property. A3 is a redacted copy of the lease proving status, standing by the applicant as a tenant with permission to pursue the conditional use approval. A4 is a Google aerial of the neighborhood where the property is located. The property, 835 Lawn Avenue, is identified with the red dot near the unit, right across from Altman Road, the former
Almont Road.
Almont Road.
Yep.
The former Univest Bank building, as Dave mentioned, vacant for a period of time. A5 is a Google Street View of the subject property. A6 is the site plan of the subject property showing the location of the building, access onto Lawn Avenue, the 24 parking spaces that are available, and the 3 drive-through lanes on the left side of the property behind the bank building. A7 is a floor plan showing the interior of the former bank building where the Fast Signs operation will be located. And A8 is a Fast Sign location plan, which basically is a schematic of the 1,545 square foot building, the parking lot, and the driveway entrance onto Lawn Avenue. So as noted, I have just one witness, Steve Nave.
State spell your full name, please. Stephen Nave. Spell that. STEPHENNAVE. You solemnly swear or affirm testimony about the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Do you need him up here at the mic?
Yes.
For
I
the
would-
recording.
Just so we can hear it, because it's being translated. Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to be at the podium in order for the sound system to pick you up.
I don't want to sit in the chair. You're facing the wrong way. What is your occupation?
I'm the owner of 2 Fast Signs franchises.
And they're owned by Laura Lynn Corp. And you're the sole shareholder.
Yes,
How long have you been in the business as a Fast Signs franchisee?
13 years.
And you have 2 franchises?
Yes.
Where are they located?
I have the franchise in Montgomeryville right at 5 Points. And I have the Doylestown franchise, which I had a store in Doylestown, which I closed. And this area out here in Percy was the western portion of my franchise area. So I talked with Fast Signs National about opening a store in a different location. There were like 5 sign stores in a mile radius in Doylestown. So I decided to look out here. I looked towards Quakertown, and there aren't really that many places to have a small operation like that. So I ended up looking at this old Unifest facility and decided to take a swing at it.
And you propose to operate the former Doylestown franchise at 835 Lawn Avenue?
Yes,
And you're familiar with the property at that address?
yes,
And the ownership of that property is on Exhibit A1? The deed?
yes, I believe so.
And you have a lease with that owner to operate the franchise, subject to conditional use approval and other township permits?
Yes,
And the property is 49,188 square feet,
yes,
and it's improved by the former bank building,
yes,
and it's owned IS Institutional Services,
yes,
and that permits retail trade and retail service by conditional use.
yes,
And you access Lawn Avenue via curb cut,
yes,
and there's 24 on-site parking spaces,
I believe so. Yes,
and the building is 1,545 square feet.
yes,
That's a one-story building, as noted, formerly occupied by a bank.
yes,
And there's 3 drive-through lanes on the property,
yes.
and the building is currently vacant.
Yeah.
And on your proposal, what is your proposed number of employees at the building?
2 to 3 initially.
Hope to expand a little bit, or we'll stick around that same number?
That's all I ever had in the Doylestown store. The bigger operation is Montgomeryville, where all the big equipment is. This will be more like a sales center where I'll have a few large format printers, a salesperson, a designer, and somebody answering the phone.
What are your proposed hours of operation on the property?
8 to 5.
And basically describe the operation of a Fast Signs franchise.
It's a relatively quiet operation. I wish it were more active. I certainly don't need 24 parking spaces. During the course of a day, we may have 4 or 5 people come through the store. Most of the interaction is done with businesses, and it's usually by email or phone. People come to pick up signs. We do a lot of vehicle graphic work, vehicle lettering, so they may come to the store for that, and we could do it out in the parking lot. They wait while we do it. It takes about an hour, usually hour and a half for most, unless it's a complete wrap, and then usually we're looking for a garage to do that in. So we wouldn't do that on site.
And that operation would probably take place in the former drive-through lanes undercover?
Well, that would be helpful. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we looked at a building that had that capability. Certainly don't need a drive-through, but it would help in those situations where it's raining and we can get a car under there and dry it off and letter it.
If conditional use approval is granted, the next step would be to apply for an occupancy permit and any necessary building permits if you're going to do any interior renovations.
We'll do minimal. A lot of what we use is standalone, so we don't have to build a lot of walls to create the store that we use. I pretty much have everything from the Doylestown store that I'll just bring up to this facility.
Do you expect to do any exterior renovations?
No, not initially.
In your opinion, will the use of the space by fast signs have an adverse impact on the neighborhood?
I don't believe so.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions?
I do.
Okay.
David Collingwood, do you plan to have any large vehicles coming in there? Delivering equipment, I mean, like semis or anything like large box trucks?
We have one main supplier that guess you would call it a straight job. It's not a full trailer, but he may come twice a week at this facility. They come almost every day at our Montgomeryville facility, but we do a lot of work down there. And anything large that we sell in this store would probably be made in Montgomeryville. We have digital cutters and lasers and big equipment, which I couldn't fit in this facility. So we would probably make it there, bring it here for pickup or deliver it. It was, but no, there's not heavy truck activity.
Have you had any problems with your operations at 5 Points in Montgomeryville or in Doylestown?
No.
What was your Doylestown location? What did that look like?
It was in a small strip center right next to Sherwin-Williams. It was an Indian restaurant next to us. It was a quiet center, and we got very little traffic through there.
I have another question. You talked about using the drive-through lanes to put or signs on cars. You actually like wrap cars completely? Is
We
that
do.
part of you do? So how many cars would you be wrapping at a time? I mean, is that just going to be, I envision a lot of cars being lined up or waiting to be
I wish
done.
that were the case, but no.
All right, I'm just, we don't
might
want it
be
to become
one
unsightly.
a month and usually if it's a full wrap, then we need enclosure. So we have
But
an
that's very
off-site
visible
garage
from
where
the,
we
that's
would
very
pull it.
visible from the road there. People driving by just seeing that.
They actually look good when they're done.
But you anticipate that maybe that once a month or so?
Yeah, no more than that.
And if it's a big job, you'll go to your garage to do the work.
Yeah, if it's a full wrap, we'd have to be enclosed. You can't chance getting dirt up into the vinyl while you're wrapping.
How long does it take when you just put some decals on cars generally?
Usually the customers bring it in, they wait. Takes about an hour, usually to put somebody's business name and phone number, and DOT number on their vehicle.
How often do you anticipate that happening, say on a weekly basis?
Up here, I don't know. Down in Montgomeryville, it may happen 3 times a week.
This is more like a satellite kind of store as opposed to your main operation in Montgomeryville.
Yes.
You have any questions?
Handling trash, commercial trash,
Yes.
using any volatile chemicals, any solvents, anything else, or is it just vinyl and you're doing the same thing as the guys who print the big signs for turnpikes and the rest? Vinyl?
Yeah, none of it is environmentally sensitive or controlled.
I don't have any other questions. They answered them. Or you answered them for them.
What's the biggest machine you're going to use?
We have a 60-inch wide printer cutter, large format printer.
Mhm.
And then we have a layout table that has a compressor on it for laminating,
Okay, not bad.
and then computers but as I said, the other store has the laser and the channel bender and digital cutter. So all the heavy equipment is down in Montgomeryville.
Okay, you're not etching and powder coating and all the other fun stuff.
Yeah, we don't powder coat. We have to we'll take it to a supplier that does that for us.
Okay.
But we do paint, we do have to paint some signs.
Mhm.
But it's not the noxious paint. No, my employees don't want to deal with that, so. If it's a heavy duty paint job needed, then we'll take it to the powder coater.
Okay.
All painting will be done inside?
You're usually, yes.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't think we're going to be doing that much of that kind of work up in this facility.
Okay.
We have about 8,000 square feet in Montgomeryville. And then my employees in Montgomeryville live in Quakertown, so it's going to be easy to bring the finished signs back and forth to this store.
All right. Any other questions?
I just have one question if the board's finished.
Go ahead.
Now, sir, under the retail trade and retail service use regulations, you understand you're not allowed to sell automotive parts or accessories. That, you're not going to be doing any of that at Fast Signs, are you?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I have for you.
All right.
We could turn it over for public comment, I believe, at this.
Anybody have any public comment regarding this matter? If you do, please state your name and address. Yes, ma'am.
Joanne Natale, 113 Ridge Valley Road. Just
You
a
want her to
question.
get to the
Yeah,
mic?
Joanne, could you please come up to the mic? Just so that your voice can be recorded. Thank you.
Okay, Joanne Natale, 113 Ridge Valley Road. Just a question on where you're going to be storing your signs. Like, do you have inside facilities to store them as they're completed, waiting for delivery, pickup? Or are they going to be outside?
No, we don't store them outside. There'll be nothing outside.
Please state to the microphone that there'll be nothing stored outside.
Yeah, nothing is stored outside. If you drive by our Montgomeryville store, you'll never see anything outside.
Thank you. Is that it, Joanne? Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else have any questions, concerns? Seems like a straightforward activity, really.
Yes, Mr. Hughes, do you move for the admission of A1 through A8?
Yes.
All right, they're received. Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
No questions?
I guess with that, I'll close the hearing.
How do you guys handle the voting?
You'll get a written decision within 45 days.
Okay, but I mean, you don't vote tonight or anything.
Uh,
Our landlord's looking over our shoulder.
we'll get your decision.
We'll get you the decision.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Shouldn't take long. But thank you for coming.
Thank you. Mr. Court Reporter, thank you for being here. Thank you. All right. Moving right along. The second item on my report for tonight is for the board to consider an approval resolution. It's resolution number 2025-14. It's for the Moyer Lot Line Adjustment Subdivision, assigned number LD 660. Properties are on Lonely Road. One of them has a is assigned address 607 Lonely Road, and the other parcel is unassigned to street address. I understand that's been before you before. We've prepared a approval resolution for your consideration tonight, indicating conditions that the applicant must comply with before the plans may be recorded. I present that to you for your consideration and for discussion tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we've seen this before several times, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is there any concerns, questions, or any reason we shouldn't move forward with this?
And I should note that we've got an agreement from both applicants to comply with the conditions if you do vote to approve this resolution.
Okay,
I would make a motion.
all right. I have a motion made on the floor. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, I have a second. Any discussion? Nope, seeing none.
Sending one part of the gorge from one owner to another gorge.
All those signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That concludes the solicitor's report.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to approve the solicitor's report as presented.
All right, motion's been
Second.
made. Second, all those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward. Next on the agenda is the manager's report. Mr. Lippincott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item is a developer request approval of land development name change, Oakwood Terrace. You have a letter from Toll Brothers. They would like to change the name from Oakwood Terrace to Regency at Rock Hill Ridge. Since it was approved under the other name, the board has to approve the name change if you so want.
Yeah, we have a Rock Hill Village, right?
Yep.
The village at Rock Hill, or what is that?
Regency at Rock Hill
Regency at
Ridge.
Rock Hill, yeah.
Regency at Rock.
I don't see a problem with it.
I have no problem with it.
Okay. You have a problem with
As
it?
long as you roll your R's.
Okay. All right.
I would,
It rolls off the tongue. Tonight.
Steve?
they say they were gonna re-record the plan in the letter.
We can make that a condition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not in their letter, but I talked to them about it. If you do approve it, I would suggest they make a condition that they re-record the plan with the new name. So for documentation's sake, you'll be able to find the subdivision that matches the name that they're using.
Okay, do we have a motion made with that request?
I will make the motion.
With that request to re-record the plan?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Second, all those signify by saying aye. Aye, ayes have it.
The next item is authorize the change of date of an agreement of sale at a past meeting, the Board of Supervisors for an open space purchase. Set up a settlement, and that has to get pushed back to August 29th due to some unforeseen circumstances. I went ahead and signed it because we were running out of time. You just have to authorize my signature.
Okay.
I just need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
I will second.
Second, all those signify by saying aye. Aye, ayes have it.
And that will settle, I think, by August 29th.
Okay.
The next item is we have a request from the Historical Society. As you know, the Park and Rec is getting a new shed. The township was going to take the shed, bring it over to the West Rock Hill side here by Public Works and demo it. We have a request from the Historical Society to put it next to the Heritage House. If it's put next to the Heritage House, it will remain township property. The Historical Society will take care of it, maintain it, and if they ever so abandon it, it will revert back to in its location. That's up to the board to approve, and
I don't have an issue with it myself. The only thing I will say is the timing of things, it probably should have been brought to the Planning Commission. I mean, I'm sorry, not the Planning Commission, the Park and Rec. The process, it should have came to the Park and Rec and say, hey,
I don't think anybody was aware of
we
it.
would like to have this, use this shed or whatever. But as far as the transition and how this goes, I think Mr. Lippincott outlined it very well. And I support what is asked to be done here. And I do think that the Park and Rec committee would support it as well. Am I
If the
correct?
Historical Society can reuse the old shed, then
Yep.
use it till it falls apart.
Okay. With that being said, then, I guess I will say I'd make a motion to allow this request.
I will second.
Okay, motion's been made and second. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. We'll coordinate that then, Greg, right?
correct.
He'll drag it over with.
Okay, old business?
I was gonna make a motion to approve the.
Yep,
manager.
that's fine. Okay, motion's been made.
I will second.
Second, all those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Manager report is approved. Thank you. Next on the agenda is old business.
One question, what's the status of Wawa? When are they gonna start building?
That is a good
There's
question.
nothing stopping them, right?
We had a pre-construction meeting last week, at which time they said in 2 weeks. So I would anticipate by next week, you'll start to see activity on the site.
Thank you.
And we got an update on the water line. The water line is moving along, right? Ridge Road?
Correct. Yep, I did stop in and talk to the guys. They are now pressurizing the line up to 1,000 Acre Road. And I think they said they're about 800 feet away from County Line Road. So they're almost all the way up, past the guy with all the old cars. Yep, on the curve, and they're almost up most of the way. I said they got a big scare last week, but coming back.
It's worked out, right?
It's coming together, but they seem like they said that they've got the line has been pressure tested coming from Almont all the way down. So they're now up to, like I said, right at 1,000 Acre, right by Hirschberger's, the farm with all the sheep and the chickens.
Question for you, Steve.
Yes.
Has any restoration been done? This is from the other side of the 309 Almont where they did work. Have they restored anything? Do you know if they restored anything?
There's no final restoration
No
there,
final yet.
but I did pester them 2 weeks ago that it was in terrible condition, and they came back in and they repatched it
Okay,
back to life mark.
that's a concern,
Yeah.
big concern.
So it's much better now than it was a couple weeks ago, but they haven't finished the final restoration there yet.
Can we lean on them?
Yeah,
Take care.
Well, actually, they did come back and started redoing some of the old patch along Ridge
Yeah.
to take out some of the bigger bumps. So
Well, I'm
that
talking
was
about
like 2
over there,
weeks.
it was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrible.
Well,
Terrible.
this section wasn't that great either.
No. Great. Okay, that's all I have for old business. Anybody else have any old business? Any new business?
Have done.
None?
No, not
Okay.
really.
All right. Moving forward, public comment. Anybody have any public comment? If you do, please come up to the microphone and state your name and address. Seeing none? Okay. I will thank you all for coming, and I'll entertain a motion for adjournment into executive session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second?
Second, all those signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming.
It really crystal clear. Good.